fraction of the pizza would one person get if 8 people equally share this pizza? In this lesson, you will learn how to create equal shares by partitioning one whole area into smaller, same-size areas. We can think of a rectangle as one whole area, and we can partition this whole into 2, 3, or 4 equal shares and describe each share as halves, thirds, or fourths, remembering that each share must be equal to the other shares in the whole. On the left here, I have one whole, and we can partition this whole into 2 equal parts, with each part being called 1/2. 2 people can equally share this whole, and 2 halves make up the whole area. In the middle, I have one whole, and we can partition it into 3 equal parts, with each part being called 1/3. 3 people can equally share this whole. 3 shares, or 3/3, make up this whole area. The last rectangle here, I have one whole. We can partition it into 4 equal parts, with each part being called 1/4. 4 people can equally share this whole. 4 of the shares, or 4/4, make up the one whole area. We are going to look at partitioning wholes into another number of equal shares now. Here I have 2 more whole rectangles. Let's look at the one on the left. We are going to partition it into 6 equal parts. So first I cut my whole in half. Then I cut each half into 3 equal parts. So now there are 6 equal parts, with each share being called 1/6. They are each the same size since they are 6 equal parts. Here I have 1/6. This is another 1/6, another 1/6, another 1/6, another 1/6, and a last 1/6. So 6/6 is one whole, or 6/6 make up the one whole. Let's look again at this, turning a whole and partitioning it into 6 equal parts again. We can partition this shape in half down the middle. Then we're going to make each of those 2 halves have 3 more equal shares. So now I have a total of 6 equal parts. So each share is 1/6 of the whole. So here we have 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. 6/6 equals one whole. We can also partition a whole into 8 equal parts. Here I have a circle that I am going to partition into 8 equal shares. Since there are 8 parts and they are all equal to each other, I can say each share is 1/8 of the whole. Here I have 1/8, another 1/8, another 1/8, another 1/8, 5 1/8, another 1/8, another 1/8, and another 1/8. 8/8 is equal to one whole. I can also partition a rectangle into 8 equal parts. So here I have my one whole, and I cut it in half, and then I'm going to cut each of my halves into 4 more equal shares, so that I have 8 equal shares. So 8 equal parts means that each region is 1/8 of the whole. So I have 1 1/8, another 1/8, 3 1/8, 4 1/8, another 1/8, another 1/8, another 1/8, and 8 1/8. So 8/8 equals one whole. These are 2 different shapes that have 8s inside of them. Any whole partitioned into 8 equal size shares will have each region described as 1/8, no matter what the shape of the whole looks like. A common misunderstanding that mathematicians can make is partitioning a rectangle into shares that are not equal. They might count the number of shares and describe those shares as the fractions 6ths or 8ths without checking to see if all regions are equal to the other regions inside of that whole. It is important to remember that a whole must be partitioned into equal parts before we can decide what fraction of the whole each share represents. We would only say that the shares are the fraction 1/8 if each share takes up the same space as the other 7 pieces of a whole. For example, we can see that this circle is partitioned into 8 shares, but some shares are really small and some are really large. They do not take up the same amount of area. The 2 shares on the bottom and the 2 shares on the top are smaller and take up less space than the 4 shares that are in the middle. So these are not eighths of this whole. Let's take another look at this with one whole rectangle. Here it is partitioned into 6 parts, but you can see the parts are not equal. The 4 on the left are smaller and take up less space than the 2 on the right, so they do not all represent 1/6 of the whole area. So remember, all regions of a whole must be an equal size in order to represent the fraction being described, such as this whole we looked at that was partitioned into 6 same size equal shares. So let's go back to our question from the beginning. What fraction of the pizza would one person get if 8 people equally share this pizza? So here I have my one whole pizza, and I want to partition it into 8 equal slices, with each of us getting the same amount. So I make 8 same size shares, and I know that each slice is 1/8 of the whole. I know that there are 8 people, so each person would get 1/8 of the pizza. In this lesson, you have learned how to create equal shares by partitioning one whole area into smaller, same size areas. Is each piece equal to 1/4 of the area of the pie? So we have a pie and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So it does have 4 pieces. So is one of those pieces equal to 1/4 of the pie? Well, let's talk about what we mean when we have a fraction like 1/4. The 1 in the fraction, the numerator, represents the number of pieces. So here, 1 piece of pie. And then the 4, when we're talking about fractions, is always talking about the number of equal size pieces. So in this case, 4 equal size pieces. So the question is each piece one of 4 equal size pieces? Let's look at the pie. I think it's pretty clear that these pieces on the end are not equal. They are smaller than the 2 pieces in the middle. If you love cherry pie, you are not happy about getting this end piece because it is smaller. It is not an equal size piece. So yes, each piece is 1 out of 4 pieces, but it is not 1 of 4 equal size pieces. Therefore, it is not 1/4. So our answer is no. Each piece is not 1/4 or an equal share of the pie.
We get it. You don't really want your kids watching videos. But it can have certain advantages.